Production level agents. Today, I would like to share with you a workflow that I've been working on in the last few days. And it's a combination of using an agentic framework, CrewAi or Autogen, with an RPA tool, in this case, Microsoft Power Automate. Using Microsoft Power Automate to build a workflow allows me way more control regarding the use of agents, and leveraging both, and also GPT-4Vision and GPT 3.5 for writing personalized outreach helped me create a workflow that I'm actually happy to use, and I don't mind using on behalf of myself. I mean, using my own name, risking my reputation when writing personalized outreach to prospects after all these prospects have went through this pipeline. So let me clarify, because it probably wasn't so clear. One of the issues with the agentic frameworks at the moment, at least for me, is the fact that I don't have complete control of what they produce, and it's very sexy and has a lot of potential, but I didn't see many people using agents in real use cases. So in this case, because I've used a lot of layers of validation, and I also wrapped the agents in an RPA tool, which allowed me more control, I actually am going to implement this workflow, which I'm going to show with you in a moment, in like my real day, my real business, opposing to a lot of other things that we're seeing around, people using agentic frameworks for exploring traveling alternatives or answering Gmail, but at the end of the day, they are not going to really use it in the production level because they still have many flaws. So let's dive deeper into what I've built. And obviously it's still a work in progress, but it is already production ready and I already can start using it. I've built this on top of a prospecting automation that I already built for Facebook, but this can also be used for LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever. Okay, let's follow the document because otherwise I might be just ranting for hours and hours. So the goal is to create an automated outreach campaign with personalized, high quality, non-generic outreach using agents. The tools that I used were an agentic framework. In this case, it was CrewAi, but I'm going to test also Autogen. CrewAi is more simple to set up and get up and running, while Autogen is more complex but has more features and more capabilities. This is obviously you can use CrewAi with LangChain and then you have endless tools, but out of the box, I feel that Autogen has more features and is more powerful. But for the sake of this video, I'm using CrewAi because it's more simple and I just want to build a proof of concept. I also used an RPA tool. In this case, it is Microsoft Power Automate Desktop, which I already created a few videos about. If you guys are not familiar with RPA tools, or RPA stands for robotic process automations. These tools are very powerful and can allow you, on one hand, to automate, and on the other hand, a lot of control. So this is why I like them. It's very easy to get up and running. You can, if you don't have a Microsoft operating system, you can find other RPA tools. I mean, the biggest players are Microsoft Power Automate Desktop and UiPath. I'm not sure if UiPath offer an alternative for Mac. And obviously, whatever I done over here in using the RPA tool, you can also use with Python, but it's probably going to take more expertise and more time because RPA tools are pretty much no code or low code. I used an Excel as a database, and I use this website just to help me craft better JSONs because I had many issues with sending API requests. I will show you how I solved them in a moment. And obviously using OpenAI Vision, OpenAI GPT 3.5 or GPT-4. Now let's cover the workflow. Okay, so here is the workflow. This is Microsoft Power Automate Desktop, for those of you who don't know. What we're doing here, we can go to Facebook or LinkedIn, and we will scrape leads. So let's say we go to Facebook. I want to scrape leads. Let's say I want to scrape all the group members of this community. I just go to members or people, and I'm going to use this instant data scraper. You can use also other scrapers, but this is like the easiest one to get up and running. So as you can see here, I just say start crawling. It's going to start crawling, and then I can export the CSV, and the CSV will contain all the profiles, all the links to the profiles, and their names and more data. So let's assume that I've copied these URLs, these profiles, to my master Excel. This is my master Excel file. Let's remove this because this was a test that I did before. And the profile that I scraped are my wife's profile and my profile. This is my profile, just so you guys see in Facebook. What it looks like. And what I wanted to achieve in this automation is I wanted to personalize an outreach that is actually personalized, doesn't look like shit, and doesn't look automated. So many people, they just write a generic outreach, but this isn't working anymore, at least based on my test, because people, they are getting used to being bombarded via DMs and spam. So we must write a personalized outreach. And for this, I kind of thought of, okay, what is the data that I need to provide in the outreach so that the prospect will really think that I actually crafted the outreach manually. So before, I was only scraping this intro. And then I also started scraping this, and I had like a validation layer in which I made sure that this whole chunk of text contains keywords that are relevant for me. So if I'm targeting agency owner, so I was looking for agency owner or marketer or stuff like this in this whole string. Now what I added in this workflow is a few more interesting things. So first of all, I'm using GPT-4 in order to take the cover photo and analyze the cover photo. Afterwards, I'm using the scraper in order to scrape this chunk of text. And then I'm also scraping the 3 recent posts of the prospect. And based on all this data, I am assuming that the machine, GPT-4, will be able to craft a better personalization. So this is the first step. The second step in the automation is taking the personalization, sending it to a CrewAi agent, which provides a score to the personalization. Now, this is the Excel database that I've built. So we have the profile URL. We will scrape the name. We will scrape his intro. We will have the cover photo description using GPT-4. Then we will have the content of the last 3 recent posts. Then we have a column that is called aggregated data, which is basically going to be a whatever. I'm going to concatenate all of these last recent posts. I'm going to send the data to GPT-4 with a prompt asking it to write a personalized outreach. I will show you the prompt in a minute. And afterwards, I'm sending the prompt to CrewAi. I have 2 agents waiting, and they are going to validate that basically the personalization makes sense. You will see the parameters in a moment. I have a few more ideas that I didn't implement yet. You can see here, like, I'm going to score the risk of reputational damage. I'm going to score the amount of report building in the personalization, like just asking GPT-4 or CrewAi or Autogen to provide a score on a scale of 1 to 10 for each one of these parameters. For example, I'm going to ask the agent to tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, did the personalized outreach emphasize the commonalities between myself and the prospect? And then after I'll have all these scores, I can just multiply the scores, and then I have a final score, and I can filter out based on the score and send DMs to all of the people that have a very high score. An example, I have a few more ideas in the pipeline, but this isn't crucial at the moment. Let me add this, I forgot. Summarizing posts if they are too long. One of the issues that I encountered was when the posts were too long, so it was too many tokens, and it might cause issues. Okay, now let's dive deeper into the actual automation. Okay, so first of all, we are launching the Excel. Then we are nullifying the variables. Then we are reading the URL. This basically is a loop that is going to loop over all the prospects. Every prospect has a dedicated row. We are going to start a loop. We are going to pull the URL from the prospects from cell A, from row number A, sorry, from the respective row, column A. So here we go. We're going to scrape this, pull this to the automation. And then we are going to start. First of all, what I did, I created a JavaScript that basically we are going to launch the URL. It's going to be the Facebook link. Then what we want to do, and I created a JavaScript for this, is we are going to click all the click see more. We are going to click all the see more buttons in the post, because sometimes, usually when the post is too long, we are only able to see only 2 rows or 2 lines of the top of the post, as you can see over here. So I had to write a JavaScript that clicks all the see more buttons over here automatically, and then it can pull out the content of the post and not only the first 2 lines, because if we pull only the headline, which is the first 2 lines, it doesn't make much sense. So this was the first step. The next step, let's go back to the main. The next step was using GPT-4Vision, and basically what we are doing, we are getting the details. Basically, I'm scraping the URL of the cover image. So the cover image has a URL, copy image address. So this is the cover photo in my case, and we are scraping this URL and we are giving it to GPT-4 in the prompt. So I will remove this, obviously, the API key afterwards. But this is the prompt. This is the API call actually. So model GPT-4Vision, messages, what's in this image, and this we have here the image link. Then it is going to parse the response, and we are going to write down the image description over here. We are going to save the Excel, and we are moving on to the next step, which is going to be fetching the prospect name. So it's this element. Then we are going to obviously write it down in the Excel file. Then we are going to fetch this element, which is the intro. Then we are going to pull the last 3 recent posts. And then we aggregate all the data in the following format or template. So the prospect name is, and this is the variable prospect name. His Facebook profile intro is, and this is the prospect intro that we pulled. In his cover photo, we can see the following, and this is the image description created by GPT-4. and his recent posts are about or is about prospect recent posts, and this is going to be filled out automatically. It is going to write everything down over here, and then we are moving onwards to creating the outreach. So first step is using, in this case, GPT-4 to create the outreach. So I had many challenges with sending the aggregated data, which contains the name, the intro, the description of the image, and the recent post, to GPT for analysis. And the issue was that you should send the API call has to be in a JSON format, and sometimes the posts that you send have many like weird characters, so new lines, emojis. Sometimes they are too long. Sometimes you have quotation marks in the post, which is also something that confuses GPT-4. And basically, when you send the API call with line breaks or quotation marks, it is going to break. So I wasted or invested a lot of time into figuring out the correct format and validating the JSON, and I stumbled upon this tool, which basically you can take a JSON call. Let me show you this thing, for example, and validate JSON, and it's going to tell you whether or not the JSON is valid. So let's remove this for a second, validate JSON, and you can see invalid JSON. And it tells me what it is expecting. So it's expecting the comma, adding the comma, and that's it. So basically it took me a while until I found out what were the issues. This was very helpful, and I'll show you later on during the video another interesting trick that I found for cleaning up JSONs. I'm assuming that for the programmers out there, you already know this stuff, but I didn't know this because I don't consider myself a programmer, and this was very helpful for me because it saved me a lot of time of trying to figure out what I needed to do. So basically what I did here is, after I had many issues with sending the post to the API because of all these emojis and line breaks or stuff like this, I found a piece of code that basically it sanitizes your string so it will be fit for a JSON. So let me show you the sanitizer. Let me open this up. Okay, so basically what I did here, and this is a code that I got from GPT. And basically what we can do is I gave it the string, which is going to be like the aggregated data, the profile name, the intro, the last recent post, and it's going to clean everything up. So it's going to replace, every time we have quotation mark, it is going to add these two. Every time we have a dash and n, it's going to add another dash. So it escapes new line, it escapes double quotes, it removes carriage returns for simplicity, it sanitizes the text and makes it ready for a JSON. And it is creating a new string, a new text file, which is the cleaned up string. So this is a very helpful code that I'm using in Power Automate. So if you guys don't know, Power Automate allows you to use JavaScript, as I showed you in the click see more. I've used JavaScript, and over here we can also use different Python codes, and we can also use command line. So this is what I did here. I'm using the command line in order to run the Python script that is called sanitizer. And sanitizer is returning for me, is creating this file, which is the cleaned string that I can send in my API call to OpenAI. And what I did here, so I'm asking it to write a well-crafted outreach message to the prospect based on his bio. And sorry, this is you are a helpful assistant. You enjoy. So I wanted the outreach to be relevant to me. So instead of just having a generic guidance to the machine, I actually told it in the system message what I like doing, and then based on this, I asked it to create the personalization. So you are a helpful assistant, you enjoy going to the gym, you are a father, and you love marketing and automation. Now the content of my request is write a personalized message to the prospect based on his bio. Look for commonalities between yourself and the prospect. Here is his bio, and we are giving away the content of the file that we just created, which is basically the aggregated data. The last recent post, what he has in the cover photo, etc. We are going to save this over here into the Excel file, and then we are moving on. Let me show you. We are going to save it over here, and then we are moving on to let's see what's the next step. Basically, we are using CrewAi, the CrewAi agents, the CrewAi agentic framework, to give us a score, to score the personalized outreach and basically tell me if it is worth sending or do I have too much reputational risk if I send it out. So let me show you the code. And what I'm doing here basically is because the personalized outreach is a variable, it's a dynamic variable that I'm sending every time. For each prospect is going to be different outreach, different string or different personalization. So I'm using something that I also created a video about a few days ago. I'm going to send a command line argument that is going to run this script, but it is going to pull the content of the specific file that I'm going to specify. And the file, the content of the file is going to be here, and it's going to be, as I said, a dynamic variable that we are going to use in the CrewAi framework. Okay, now let's go over the whole code for CrewAi just to make it clear. So basically, this is related to what I just discussed, pulling the outreach from a dynamic file. Then we have the agent reputational analyst. So analyze the personalized outreach copy to ensure there are no reputational risks involved. Backstory, you are an expert in identifying potential issues in communication that could pose a risk to the company's reputation. And obviously, later on, I'm going to make these prompts, the goal and the backstory better, but for now, it is good enough. And then we have the validator agent, which is the copy validator. Validate the outreach copy and give it a score between 1 to 10 based on specific parameters: professionalism, offensive language, identification of common ground, reputational risk, etc. And here is the backstory. With a keen eye for detail and quality, break down the analysis into parameters to objectively score the outreach copy. Here we define the task, analyze the personalized outreach copy for potential reputational risk, considering the outreach content. And this is the content that we are going to pull from the file. And this is the content that was created using GPT 3.5 in the step before. Ensure the message aligns with the company's communication standards. Then we have another task, which is validating the outreach copy and scoring it on a scale of 1 to 10. And basically, we are extracting the numerical final score, rounding it to the closest number, and providing it as output. That's pretty much it. I could have used also Autogen. doesn't really matter. The main idea is I want to pull the data from the profile of the prospect. I want to find commonalities between myself and the prospect. Then I want to generate an outreach message to him, and then I want to use an agentic framework to score or validate the message and tell me if I can use it or not. Obviously, afterwards, I'm going to automate the DMing process, which I already have an automation for this. But what we are showing today is only like pulling the data, including the cover photo description, creating the outreach, and then validating the score, or validating the message and scoring it. Now let's make sure that this is empty, because we are going to start the automation in a moment and see how it performs. Let's close this. We will close this as well. Okay, let's get going. I hope it won't fail. It shouldn't. It's not supposed to fail. So first of all, we are launching the Excel. No hands, automated. The Excel was launched. Now it is opening the first URL, which in this case, it's my profile. It's going to click the see more buttons in a moment. Also automated. Let's just see that I didn't put a breakpoint. Yes, so it's the breakpoint. You see the JavaScript is taking over. It scrolls down to the end of the page and clicks all the see more buttons, as you can see. Now, let's see what happens over here. So we click see more. Now the next thing we are going to do is we are going to pull the cover photo URL, and we are going to ask GPTVision to describe what we have in the cover photo. So this is running, getting the details of the elements in the cover photo. It is now sending the link of the cover photo to GPT-4 Now it saves in the Excel. And by the way, why I like Microsoft Power Automate, it's so easy to debug, and you can see all the data over here of all the variables. So saving. Now let's see what we have at the moment. Yes, so we have the description. The image shows a graphic with text and logos. The main message is I100x business output using code and automation. Below the main text, there's a subtext that reads as featured in, followed by a row of media outlet logos, which includes Business Insider, Yahoo Finance, Benzinga, Digital Journal, and MarketWatch. The graphic has a black and white color scheme with the text and logos in white set against a predominantly black background. The design features some angular cuts, blah, blah, blah. Not so interesting. The graphic appears to be promoting a business or a service that specializes in boosting business productivity through coding and automation. Now let me just show you the cover photo. So as you can see, exactly what we are seeing here. And this is very powerful because we will be able to get the cover photos of all our prospects. And let's say we see someone with his kids, so we can write a personalized outreach, automatically love the photo with your kids. You seem like a great father, for example, or whatever. So now that we pulled the cover photo description, we are going to pull the prospect name and his intro. As you can see, these cells are empty at the moment. Extracting the data, writing the data in the Excel, extracting the data, writing the data. Now we are extracting the last recent post. Let's open the Excel. Okay, so we have the name here. We extracted it. We have the intro, which, as you probably remember, this is the intro. I100x business output missing, blah, blah, blah. Podcast host, founder, from Tel Aviv, Israel, and we can see it over here as well. From Tel Aviv, Israel, profile. So we got this, and now we have the last recent post. So the one thing e-com store owners overlook. Ever wonder why some online stores scale and others don't? So this is this recent post. Another one was, got this comment on one of my YouTube videos. It made my day. Let me just show you. Yeah, this is the recent post. This is the second recent post. So we pulled this correctly. Now let's go back to the automation. The next step is we are aggregating all the data into one cell. So we aggregated all the data into one cell, as you can see over here. So the prospect name, his profile information, what does his cover photo say, and his recent posts. And what we are doing here is asking GPT-4 to actually write the personalization for us. So this is the API call that we are doing. It's not interesting. We are invoking the web service, basically sending the API call, setting the variable, writing the outreach, and let's see what it wrote. Dear Yaron, I couldn't help but notice how much we have in common. As a fellow father, growth marketer, and lover automation, I truly resonate with your passion for boosting business output using code and automation. Your dedication to helping e-commerce store owners succeed through innovative marketing strategies is truly inspiring. The way you leverage generative AI and code to generate hundreds of high-quality variations is remarkable. And this is all data that it figured out from the post, which is great. Your commitment to providing solutions that drive higher CTR and ROAS while maintaining brand integrity is commendable. I also saw your recent post about the importance of testing and scaling marketing efforts efficiently. Your insights resonate with me as I believe in the power of testing and automation to achieve scalable growth. If you ever want to exchange ideas or discuss how we can leverage automation further to enhance marketing results, I'd love to chat. Feel free to drop me a message anytime. Keep up the fantastic work, Yaron. Best regards, your name. So this is pretty amazing. Obviously, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm going to create better prompt because I don't want to have just like this Dear Yaron, and I also don't want such a huge chunk of text. It's too long, but I just love the fact that it was able to pull all the context and craft something based on all the context. If I got this message, I probably would have think it was automated just because of the extra effort that it seems to have gone for, like stating so many commonalities. But with a better prompt, I'm sure that I can adjust this. So if I was the prospect, I wouldn't have figured that we're discussing that a bot actually crafted this personalization to me, which is amazing. Now, the next step would be asking CrewAi to score this outreach. So in this case, I'm taking the text of the personalization, I put it into a file that is being pulled into the CrewAi Python, and CrewAi agents are going to analyze the personalization, and it's going to give me a breakdown and a score of if they consider this outreach good or not. It's currently running the whole flow. Now let's see what CrewAi created. So we can come here, CrewAi. So this is the whole conversation that was sent to CrewAi. So let's do wrap text. So reputation analyst, starting task, analyze the personalized outreach copy for potential reputational risk, considering the outreach content. And this is the outreach content, as you saw. And this is the analysis. The personalized outreach copy is well crafted, respectful, and professional. It does not contain any offensive or inappropriate content that could harm the company's reputation. the content of the message is in alignment with the company's communication standards, as it promotes the company dedication to innovation, commitment to success, and appreciation of the recipient work. It also promotes open communication and collaboration, which are positive aspects for the company reputation. However, one thing to consider is ensuring that the information about the recipient, Yaron in this case, is accurate and not based on assumptions, and this could potentially harm the company's reputation if incorrect. I love this. Obviously, I could have adjusted the CrewAi goal and backstory to have like something more concise or add like more company's value or providing more context, but as a proof of concept, it is good enough. Then the copy validator agent is validating the outreach copy and scoring it. It gets a personalization, and it does the assessment. Based on the given parameters, here's how the outreach copy scores. Professionalism. The copy is highly professional, addressing the recipient directly and addressing the the recipient directly and commending their work. The videos are long, so obviously I have to hiccup in between. As if they are short, I don't hiccup. I can control myself, but this is long. So let's keep on going. It also offers a discussion for further growth. There are no grammatical errors, and the tone is respectful. Score 10 out of 10. Offensive language. The copy is respectful and contains no offensive language. It acknowledges the recipient accomplishments and offers to exchange ideas. Score 10 out of 10. Identification of common ground. The copy does an excellent job of identifying common ground by acknowledging shared passions and interests, such as being a father, a growth marketer, and a lover of automation. It also resonates with the recipient's dedication to helping e-commerce store owners succeed. Reputational risk. The only risk here would be if the information about the recipient is incorrect or based on assumptions. However, this risk is minimal and the overall message exudes respect and admiration for the recipient work. 10 out of 10. Final score 9.75, rounded to 10. And here we got CrewAi final score number 10. We are going to write this into the Excel. This is CrewAi score, and as you can see, it's a 10. Awesome. This is amazing. I love this. The next steps for me are going to make sure that the prompt that I give to GPT 3.5 is more accurate, more examples, and afterwards, I want to make sure that the CrewAi agents are a bit more strict regarding the criticism, because at the time being, they seem to be pretty chill. I mean, they give high scores, but still, I believe that this specific outreach was actually good, so this is why they gave it a good score. But obviously I can give it more parameters over here, just giving more parameters. So as you can see, we gave the parameters. Let's see, where were the parameters? Okay, based on specific professionalism, offensive language, identification of common ground, and reputational risk, we can add more parameters, which can be helpful. If you have ideas for parameters, let me know. Then I want to add a column for each parameter, parse the text, parse the score, and then I can basically scale this like a maniac, because we are going to scrape the profiles from a Facebook group, analyze if they are good prospects, create a personalized outreach, and automate the DMing to them. And this is very exciting, because I believe this is for me, it's a big breakthrough, because first of all, the ability to analyze also images of the prospect and get a wider context is very helpful when crafting personalized outreach. And the second thing is, I really like the combination of, on one hand, doing more controlled API calls to GPT 3.5 or GPT-4, or we can also use Llama. So controlled API calls for certain tasks, and also non-controlled quote unquote API calls for agentic framework, in this case CrewAi, for holding like a discussion, brainstorming, and then letting the agents provide the final decision instead of me breaking down the whole process into different tasks. Because I could have, as much as I did this, like created this personalization, what I could have done as well is take this whole personalization and send it again to GPT-4 and just ask GPT-4 to score the message based on the parameters. And this would allow me more control, but probably it would be more a more rigid result in opposing to when I sent the whole thing to a team of agents that can specialize in different aspects. So let's say we have like a copywriting agent that provides scoring of the personalization based on the copy, and we also have grammatical agent that scores the personalization based on grammar, and then we can create a team of agents and get like a final output from them instead of breaking down the whole process and sending many API calls. I have a feeling this would be better using the agents, but I'm not sure. This is something that I'm going to be testing. Yes, I think that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm very excited about this because this removes a huge bottleneck that I have in my automation process. I was sending automated DMs via Facebook and LinkedIn, but it wasn't personalized, and I think the response rate wasn't high because of this. But this is a leap forward or a breakthrough, if you will. In my process, I can also use this process for creating dynamic variables for sending cold outreach emails. So this is just a big breakthrough, in my opinion. The ability to understand more context about the prospect. What I want to do later is I also want to pull data from LinkedIn about the companies, and this is something that I've already done in a different automation. Basically going to a company page, finding the CEO, finding the recent post of the company, finding the last job post that they did, finding the amount of employees that they have, and crafting a message based on this. Also, we can set parameters, so only companies that are looking for a media buyer or an automation expert that have above 100 employees, we will send the DM only to them. So there are many different logics and flows that we can build over here, and this is why I'm very excited about this, because this is actually something that we can use in the production level and have skin in the game and risk our own name, because we have a ton of control of this process, and we have a lot of validation layers that will ensure that we are not doing anything stupid, and I'm not risking my own reputation. Whew, that was a long one. That's it for today, guys. If you have any feedback regarding the video, questions about the code, feedback about the way that I conveyed the message, was it too long, too short, not comprehensive enough, let me know. I'm always trying to improve, and I'm happy to learn about your ideas and your feedback and optimize based on this. If you enjoyed this video, obviously I would really appreciate if you like and subscribe, and maybe share it with one person that you might find this helpful. I want the channel to grow. In the last few days, it wasn't growing so much. I don't know if the videos were shit or I'm not sure. But anyway, if you can help, I would highly appreciate it. And until next time, keep on automating.